I was about to turn 30 when the pandemic struck and the lockdowns were brought upon us all. And that was also the time that saw the rise of TikTok. No offense to content creators, but there were perhaps as many of them then as there were people dying of the virus. Some of them actually did go though with the virus. May you rest in peace, Lloyd Cadena. Thankfully, however, some did stay healthy, alive, and continue to inspire us these days with their success in the field of content creation. Influencers, they are called, and of all breeds, educational content creators are the ones I truly like. And many of them have turned to TikTok to share their respective expertise and experience. My personal favorites are Mighty Magulang, o diba, for history and genealogy, and Archie Larga for pharmacy. But as an educator myself, I truly admire the brains and the bronze of two women who teach grammar, arithmetic, pronunciation, and sometimes life lessons on TikTok. These two women who have been on my FYP since the pandemic and who I have always secretly admired for their intelligence and grit are teacher Athena and teacher Laika. But influencers as they are, the question remains. Who influenced these influencers? Or what? Honestly, it did not occur to me prior to this activity that content creation is also based off theories, no? I thought one simply had to be intelligent or beautiful or magaling kumaldag or both, and that's it. But PhD is not like that. Here comes Dr. Naldoza's class forcing us to look into the theoretical grounding of things techie, TikTok videos included. So let's talk about both of them. Teacher Athena is a trans Pinay who hails from Cebu City, but is presently an instructor at a university in Taiwan. Her contents revolve around the proper pronunciation of words. Quite fitting, because she has a master's degree in teaching English to speakers of other languages. For the sake of this video, we shall focus on one of her episodes where she features herself teaching early grade students. In particular, it was a lesson about the pronunciation of the word comfortable, or comfortable, or comfortable, or comfortable. See, I learned those from her. Now, when you watch this particular video, you will realize that teacher Athena is actually employing behaviorist techniques in her English language classroom. Before going any further, behaviorism is that school of psychology which avoids venturing into discussions of consciousness, believing that that concept is undefinable or unusable. They instead focus on behavior as a sole subject of psychology and think of learning as a process of forming connections between stimuli and responses as influenced by different drives. But going back to teacher Athena, behaviorist techniques present in her video include the following. First, there is a clear objective to be able to pronounce the word comfortable following 5 different transcriptions. Second, teacher Athena can diagnose first where her students stand in the lesson and provide the necessary feedback to correct the wrong behavior, or in this case, wrong pronunciation. This is clearly seen when a student said comfortable and she gave immediate feedback to weaken that behavior. But not only is she good in addressing unwanted behavior or pronunciation, she is also well versed in giving positive reinforcement whenever her kids pronounce the words correctly. The video itself is too short, in fact, just a snippet of all the things that happen in her classroom, so we cannot really confirm other behaviorist techniques used. Nonetheless, this is already a good glimpse into how behaviorism is used in the classroom. Meanwhile, Laika Maravilla is both a registered psychometrician and a licensed professional teacher. Her educational contents revolve around vocabulary, syntax, and mathematics. She actually has a series of videos aimed at helping civil service exam takers. In this episode, we shall focus on one such video entitled, Which Fraction is Bigger? By and large, this video, as with many others of Maravilla's works, is anchored on the principles of Cognitivism. Maravilla employs understanding of cognitive information processing, or CIP, by relying on the stage theory whereby information is processed from the sensory memory down to the long-term memory through various activities. In the level of sensory memory, the video lesson is presented in both visual and auditory formats. In the level of short-term memory, Maravilla employs encoding and derivative subsumption, Ausable 1962 as quoted in Mays and De Freitas ND, whereby incoming information is related to concepts and ideas already in the memory, making the new concept more memorable. In the level of the long-term memory, Maravilla attempts to test the retrieval of information by giving a pair of problems to work on at the end of the video. More specifically, Maravilla employs template matching. Knowing that her previous examples have been absorbed into the long-term memory as a template, she then gives a similar scenario, that is, when either of the numerators and denominators are the same. Teacher Laika also employs several cognitive effects in her lessons. The employment of the worked example effect is evident in her act of solving 2 sample problems in each instance before asking her audience to work on a problem. Meanwhile, completion problem effect is manifested in the unsolved examples she gave at the end. These examples require her audience to study the given scenario before proposing an answer or explanation. Lastly, Maravilla's use of modality effects is evident in her employment of both visual and auditory working memories by showing images alongside her verbal explanations. There! By now, it should be safe to say that given the solid academic backgrounds of these 2 exemplary content creators, they are very much aware of the theories that ground their work. And I think that's beautiful because many content creators these days don't even know what they're talking about. Caveat: this is not an exercise to determine which theoretical grounding is sounder than the other. As Mays and De Freitas noted, these theories or perspectives are but actual stages in the learning cycle. They argued that constructivism accounts for student motivation, behaviorism for performance, and cognitivism for understanding and reflection. Anyhow, in the face of the many disruptions that have seemingly become the norm in the 21st century, understanding how these theories interact will help educators cope better when emergencies arise, or even when they don't. At the end of the day, teachers remain to be the linchpins in the proper applications of these theories on the ground. To end, I shall leave you now with 2 questions. 1. Would you venture into content creation now, given the inspiration we got from teachers Athena and Laika, and given further the theories to help you thrive in doing it? 2. Why not, right? See you around!